Hi Col, great to meet up with you and play a little bit of golf last week as well. Just a quick recap on the key points that we covered. Big issue really was that we were sort of throwing the hips at it. We weren't really pushing down into the ground. There's a lot of hip slide and a lot of hip extension, but the hips don't really go back into flexion, so it was almost like you were pulling the arms down, firing the arms very quick from 4 to 5, loading the wrist nicely, but unfortunately everything's just a little bit too much slide, too much extension. Shaft lean could be better, but the body's out the way way too quick. So what we worked on first of all was getting the lower body back into flexion. So you can see here on the bottom left, the feeling here is that we're flexing the right knee and the pelvis. You can see as you do that, that is what's bringing the arms down from 4 to 5. So if we play grunt weight on the bottom right of your screen here and look at what happens from P4 to P5, the left knee flexes more, the right knee regains its flex, and the pelvis returns to flexion. So from 4 to 5, the act of the lower body flexing forward or returning to flexion. Now the hips are sliding whilst you're doing that. The hips have got to slide and return to flexion. So the key for you now is by returning the hips to flexion, that is lowering the arms. Now the arms start to fire from 5 to 6. So the feeling here is that we're going to go from extension to flexion with the hips, 4 to 5, consequently lowering the arms, preventing the club getting caught too much behind you. Then from there we can start to get the upper body back into flexion. The hips now are already starting to extend and slide. So that's the feeling, getting back into flexion from 4 to 5 with the lower body. In turn lowering the arms. It's here on the top right. The drill here now is I'm going to try and sort of hold your arms in position, and you're going to try and lower them just by using the body. Now if we look at the difference, there's a little bit contrived, obviously it was quite early in the session when we're doing the swings, but if you look at the difference between the two swings at 5, how much more down into the ground you've got. The hips have still slid forward, the centre of your hips on this one, inside the left heel, centre of the hips on this one, also inside the left heel, so there's still some hip slide in there, but there's more of a movement down into the ground. One of the things you were talking about was you never felt like you were getting down into the ground enough, so you can see that from face on and down the line, returning the right knee and the hips into flexion. Now you can extend as much as you want. The other thing we talked about was maintaining accumulator 2 for longer, and we can see here, if you do maintain accumulator 2, you have to slide and get back into flexion to reach the golf ball. So if you start to maintain, or if you start to dump accumulator 2, the wrists, if you start to dump the wrist too soon, then you're going to have to extend to prevent the club digging in the ground. So it's almost like a chicken and egg with you here, Cole. We're trying to find the best way for you to combat that change of direction that we see on the top left. You can see at the back where I'm shadowing you there how I'd like you to carry the drill out. Again, this is very early in the piece. You can see there's a lot of flexing forward and the upper axis translating forward with yourself on that one. And it's learning the sequence of the moves so that we can get back into flexion with the lower body 4 to 5, with the upper body 5 to 6, allowing us to maintain accumulator 2 and create a little bit more shaft lean coming into the golf ball. Good luck with it. It was looking much better the other day, especially when you drop the height of the tee. I don't like it when you get the tee height too much up. It just discourages what you're trying to work on in your swing. So get that tee height down a little bit. Squeeze a few drivers out there. It looked really good when you did that, and it seemed to be bedding in with your irons pretty quick as well. Good luck with it, and I look forward to meeting with you in early October. Well done.